Hello everyone and welcome back to another Cash to the Cookie Maker. Today we're going to be watching a PvZ between Violet, this is our Zerg player, and coL.rsvp, who has been demonstrating to us on Team Liquid how to use Blink Stalkers to defend against Mutalisk play in the Protoss vs Zerg matchup. Now this is quite a long replay, so we are going to speed it up a little bit, and we'll see that both players start off relatively standard until Violet goes for a heavy mass Mutalisk style, in which case we'll see exactly what RSVP does to respond to that. RSVP starting with a very standard Forge Fast Expand, and Violet committing his Overlord now for the Scout, and he will be able to see that, of course, very quickly, and going with a very standard Gas first into Probe Snipe. Gas first into Spawning Pool, and then expansion from him. So RSVP going for a little bit of a safer style Forge First Expand, where he goes for, pardon me, I meant to say riskier style, where he goes for the Nexus before a cannon, but instead throws down Pylon Cannon, and we'll see a second cannon coming out of him. So rather than just the single cannon defense, it is two cannons for him out of here, and he has not yet taken a gas or thrown down a gateway. So finally the gateway going down for RSVP as well. The hatchery has been taken by Violet, but the Nexus is up for RSVP, so if he can hold on to this Nexus against any bust or aggressive play, then he will get it out quite quickly. 4 Lings coming in for a quick scout, but no, they see the two cannons and a Zealot coming out quite quickly, as well as a Cyber Core down, so they know that anything short of an all-out aggression will not get into that natural. So we see RSVP's, if we go to the unit, looking at the units tab, we see up to 34 probes to drone. So our Violet has been droning super hard behind this, getting his lair up, and now taking his second gas as well. Looks like he's going to take his third and fourth gas quite quickly. So if we go to the production structure, we see a robotics facility coming out for RSVP, and Violet knows this, but Violet has. So at this point, we know that RSVP's plan is to go for a bit of a gateway and into a robotics, probably a mid-game timing push sort of style. And what is Violet going to do? Throw a wrench in his plans by throwing down that Spire. Now, RSVP has not been able to scout the Spire yet, and only has 2 sentries in production. Or 2 sentries available as well. Warp Gate production is up. So what does he do right now? He sends an Observer. Where is that Observer? Has he found it yet? No. There it is. Observer going out now. Scouts the Spire. So immediately, let's look. At this point, RSVP knows his opponent is going for a heavy Mutalisk play. He knows he's on all 4 gases, heavily droned up. So he's sitting on full saturation, 2 gases as well. No upgrade out of the evolution chamber yet, but Violet's immediate responses. Let's see. Boom. Twilight Council goes down right away. As well, starts warping in Stalkers. You'll see very quickly in production, he just starts cranking out those Stalkers. He's already sitting on 4 gases himself, and as soon as that Twilight Council gets down, he throws down extra gateways, because he knows he's going to have to get more Stalkers and Pylon in the mineral line. So we'll see cannons coming up from RSVP. We won't see as many cannons in the natural, because there's so many out front already that he can actually trap Mutalisk in with just cannons here, and a good Stalker presence as well. So Stalkers being warped in right now quite quickly. Extra gateways coming up for him as well. We see, and the cannons will go down the mineral line very shortly after. So spending all of his money and getting a little bit gas heavy, but however, as soon as that Twilight Council is done, he gets Blink research up. So he wants to get that Blink up as fast as possible. Notice he's able to barely just fend off that first Mutalisk Harass. Great Stalker warp-ins as well. RSVP's as well as those cannon timing was just perfect. So we see the warp gate, or pardon me, the Blink research is done relatively quickly, and he was the whole time he's also working on those backdoor rocks with this Zealot force. So he has been dumping his minerals into the two cannons in the back, as well as these Zealots out front. Because realistically, if a player is going that heavy into Mutas, the only thing he has left is this to put money into is hatcheries and more Lings. So this whole time, Violet took the opportunity to get his third up, but at this point, he's not able to. He does not have any access into this into the back expansion until he gets these rocks down. So. Alright, what does RSVP do? He dumps money into these Zealots, because he knows that if he can get cannons up to defend the Mutas, and he has the Blink Stalkers to push them away as well, all he has to do is defend against big Ling counterattacks. So he's able to easily get his third up much quicker than you'd normally feel like you're able to as a Protoss defending against the fast Mutalisks. So one of the big things that he stressed in his guide was getting that Blink research out quick, as well getting the Templar archives out with Storm. So you need that Storm fast. So he's taking it up quite quickly, as well as getting these cannons, and as soon as those rocks go down, he's got some killer star sense, man. He brings those goes and checks it out with a probe, immediately starts bringing those Zealots up, because the Ling counterattack is the only thing he's really afraid of at this point, and that's a heavy Ling push. But no, he's able to bring all of his Blink Stalker army over here, as well. He's got those cannons up, so if he can get look at that, Guardian Shield cannons, Blink Stalkers, and the Mutas and Lings are completely fended off. So he's able to get that third up and running so fast, perfectly, in fact, in time with Violet's own. So if we go to the unit station, we see 75 probes to 64 drones. That's crazy. Who would have thought that with such good with such good muted defense from RSVP, you'd be able to outworker your Zerg opponent, who has a much more mobile army. So he's now starting to warp in those High Templar, and they're starting to collect the energy, and Storm is done as well, and a couple of big storms on these Mutas. So as we've seen in the past, we know that what's his plan. His Zerg opponent has expanded, but look, another expansion coming out from RSVP as well. So he knows that the whole time while defending this, the only thing he really needs to worry about is those Ling counterattacks. But he still has that highly immobile army of Zealots here that he's quickly moving over to defend his 4th expansion. And very critically, he puts up a ton of cannons right away. So he's dumping a lot of minerals on cannons, Nexus, and preventing Ling counterattacks with a great Gateway Edition and SimCity. Now, look at that SimCity. If Lings come and attack this, they're not going to aggro on the gate. They're going to aggro this one photon cannon, so maybe 3 or 4 Lings fit there. 2 or 3 Lings are going to fit there, and if they're smart, they'll run around and attack from the back as well. But they don't. So that SimCity of 5 cannons is incredible, and look at how long it holds on for. This huge army takes so long, and we're in fast motion. That army had about 15 seconds to come kill all these Lings, and they're all going to die. So while he's doing this, of course, the Mutas are going to have to swing in somewhere and do some damage. So of course he swings into the main and is able to do quite a bit of damage, but big storms help defend off this, as he does lose a significant amount of probes here, but he has not lost any tech structures yet, and he's able to bring Stalkers back and trade cost effectively with these Mutas. Now Violet does a really good job in this matchup of keeping so many Mutas alive, but the storms from he keeps eating a lot of storms from RSVP's High Templars there. As we see, a very common reoccurrence is he aggressively uses these Stalkers to come and attack this 4th expansion over here from Violet, because he knows that Violet cannot engage him in a straight up fight. He simply cannot. He will lose. All those Mutas against Storm, Blink Stalkers, and a couple of mixed in with the Zealots to take down the Lings. It's just not going to happen. So this 4th base may go down, but as we see, it in fact does go down, but he just simply re-cannons up and re-SimCities up, and it took so long to go down that he was able to easily snipe this 4th over here as well. Violet, of course, tries to take it again quite quickly, and I hope we're going to speed this up a little bit faster, because this is a ridiculously long replay. As you'll see, what's going to happen is Violet is going to come in and snipe some tech over here, and RSVP is simply going to rebuild it. He realizes that he has a really good Stalker army as well, a Ling counterattack up here, but these Zealots doing so well to deal with it, and lots of Blink Stalkers trading relatively cost efficiently with this massive Muta ball. He's doing a really good job keeping the Stalkers alive. Again, one thing you'll notice is that his upgrades are at 3-1. So he has constantly been chrono boosting out attack upgrades, because the Stalkers must have attack upgrades to trade efficiently with those Mutas. The Muta upgrades, however, are on 2 and 0, so they take a lot of damage, and but they also deal it. So realistically, these Stalkers are now on +1 armor, and he's also going to go for the +1 shield upgrade to help extend the life of some of those Blink Stalkers, because as Violet has shown, he is not afraid of just simply trading Mutas for Stalkers, which is really going to end up hurting him in the long run. Now Violet has taken this back 5th base, but again, we're going to come and see RSVP come and snipe down this expansion out here again, and really limit his mining ability. Now, again, RSVP is sticking to his guns and trying to get as many expansions up as he possibly can. He's really able to really easily reestablish this mining base here. And if we go to the unit station, we see he's still sitting on a ton of probes. And look at this. RSVP moving out. He's going to go snipe that hatchery again, and no mining from it is going to get done. This gold base is almost running out. He's run out of his natural, and he's quickly working on this back 3rd, which is going to be it. But again, moving back and simply defending. Now, the Mutas did just come in here and deal significant damage. They took out his Twilight Council and his Templar Archives. And what does he do? Immediately rebuilds them. Continues to warp in Stalkers. Stalkers have been an excellent defense so far, and he's able to just send a couple of storms to fend off the Mutas. Again, warping in High Templar, one at virtually each base just to build up that energy and continue to fend it off. And those Stalkers doing such a good job chasing down those Mutas. Unfortunately, he loses this 5th base again and again and again. But if he can keep trading bases cost efficiently, he's mining just as much as the Zerg player is. So at this point, if he keeps trading cost efficiently, he does so well. Now, the Fungals in this case and this army engagement were really good for Violet. He did a really good job of taking down a lot of that, and he's trading really well with Mutas and Infestors. But as we can see, Violet is banking a lot of minerals and gas, so he's just waiting to replenish that army again, while our Zerg player is completely gas starved. So if we follow his army around a little bit, we see he's no gas at all. Despite having a greater army supply with no gas, he does not want to spend all that on just crappy Lings, because if Violet decides to dump more minerals into Zealots, that Ling army is dead. And as we see, RSVP, our complexity player, is finally just deciding to get that 5th base up. He knows he needs it up now, because he can't continue to just keep sniping bases without a little income of his own, so he puts up a lot of cannons this time, and those will serve to defend it quite better. But look at this SimCity doing so well, and the Mutas coming up here and eating massive storms. So just one little High Templar at each base, doing a really good job of storming, getting 2 storms off on the Mutas before taking too much damage from each base. So as we see a couple of idle observers here, no big deal. But he left this time. He leaves his army off at his natural 4th and 5th, because he knows these need to keep running. Never actually ends up breaking down these gold rocks in this game, because realistically he doesn't need it. He's moving out to snipe the 5th again, and look at this, boom, army supplies suddenly changed, because Violet's been mining this whole time off of several really good bases, whereas our Zerg player has been completely gas starved. So he now goes and snipes the crap out of this base, because realistically our Zerg player cannot engage with only Lings and Mutas. He did lose a lot of infestors in the last engagement. So RSVP finally decides to morph a few Archons when he realizes that he has a ton of Templar, and he's still gas heavy. So he decides to move a couple of those gas heavy High Templar into Archons, snipes this base, takes down all the drones, and Violet realistically tries to go for a counterattack and simply turns away, because he knows that if he eats a couple of big storms and some good SimCity, and he's getting nowhere. So snipes down 4th, snipes down 5th, pardon me, 5th and 6th, I guess. And at this point, our Zerg player is totally boned. He's completely on his back foot, way lower in supply, completely gas starved, and despite getting these excellent heavy Broodlords out, we see he's going to be able to do a really good Broodlord defense here. Our Protoss player is going to move in, and the Broodlords are going to fend them off completely. But at this point, because he's not mining and he realistically has no way of securing any more expansions, RSVP does a really, really good job of just starving him out at this point. So he goes to check those expansions, gets his Dark Shrine up, and puts a couple of Dark Templar around the map to prevent anything from going up sneakily, and just moves in. And as he moves in, he sees the Broodlords attacking, and wait, pulls back. Does not want to engage in that, because that could be the only turning point in this game that really screws him over. That's a huge Broodlord army, and if it demolishes his army right now, he could be in trouble. So what does he do? He knows he's mining like crazy. He's got 2 great mining bases going, while our Zerg player has one fully mining base, and 4. So he's on 4 gas, and that's it. So our Zerg player does not have the gas to support the infrastructure he's built up. And look at this, just spreads and knows that nothing can really affect him now. Only a small bunch of Mutas, and it's essentially just gets easily turned away by a small group of Blinkstalkers, leaves most of his army in the middle, with the Templar completely spread out so he can't get totally sniped, and these are full energy Templar. Finally, he ends it all with the Mo ship. Put that Stargate up, cranked out the Mo ship, and what's he going to do? Yeah, you heard it. Vortex and Mass Recall are so effective against Mutas and Broodlords, because Mutas and Broodlords don't synergize well, as we have mentioned. So even though he's got those queens there for the beautiful transfuses, we see Broodlord sieging up at the main, going to do so much damage, but he leads with the Mothership. You lead with the Mothership, you throw down that Vortex, and where do they have to go? They are so screwed. At this point, he snipes off a lot of the Broodlord, and then GG from Violet. Thank you, everyone. This has been another Fresh Cast by the Cookie Maker, and I hope you've enjoyed it as well. This goes in tandem with the guide that Complexity's RSVP has put up on Team Liquid for how to defend against the Mutalisk style play that comes out from the Zerg these days when you're a Protoss. Thank you very much, and have a good day.